So tonight I will be reflecting on the 15th juz'ah in the Quran, which includes Surah Al-Isra and Surah Al-Kahf. Now, most of us are familiar with Surah Al-Kahf since we read it every Friday, so I chose to focus on Surah Al-Isra. This surah is also one that holds a lot of power and meaning, as it specifically outlines what Muslims should practice to live a life of purpose. Surah Al-Isra, also known as the night journey, begins with highlighting Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's journey from Mecca to Jerusalem. The following verses then goes back in history to the Israelites' first visit in Palestine. Through highlighting this piece of Islamic history, the Quran is emphasizing the lessons that should be taken away from it and applied into our own lives. Now, going back to the idea that I mentioned earlier of purpose, what does it mean to live a life of purpose? Is it our occupations, our wealth, our physical representations, our status in society? It's actually quite simple. To live a life of purpose is to live a life of substance. Now, what does the Quran say about that? Verse 15 of Surah Al-Isra from the Muhammad Asad translation says, quote, "Whoever chooses to follow the right path follows it but for his own good, and whoever goes astray goes but astray to his own hurt." Essentially, what this verse is communicating is that everything you do in this life is for your own benefit or harm. Now, we might think if we do harm unto ourselves, it might harm those around us. And if we do good, then we can benefit those around us. To a degree, that is true, but what the verse actually conveys is on a deeper level. What it says is that you are doing beneficial and good things to give your life substance. And when you go astray, it is really you harming your own self, as you will become desensitized to the reality that this world is not forever, which leads me to the next verse. In verse 16, it says, "But when this has been done," quote, "but when this has been done, it is our will to destroy a community. We convey our last warning to those of its people who have lost themselves entirely in the pursuit of pleasures. And if they continue to act sinfully, the sentence of doom passed on the community takes effect, and we break it into smithereens." I wanted to highlight where the verse says, quote, "our last warning to those of its people who have lost themselves entirely in the pursuit of pleasures." Where it says the people who lost themselves, quote, entirely in the pursuit of pleasures is so deep. Because it is saying these people who are in the pursuit of pleasures, pursuit meaning to chase, to follow, to go after, a never-ending cycle, quote, lost themselves, lost who they were in this pursuit, the pursuit of material pleasures, in a pursuit that won't matter in the end. And Allah doesn't like indulgence, especially in luxuries, because not only are there people who don't have the basic necessities to live, but that a human being's life is based on the accumulation of luxuries in worldly things, being desensitized to the idea that we are mortal. Now, we may think this verse is only applied to those who have been blessed with wealth. Not true. We live in a very materialistic age. From the moment we wake up to the time we sleep, we are saturated with the idea that we don't have enough. We buy things because we think it's going to change our lives drastically for the better. But in reality, buying things only gives us an ephemeral happiness, a temporary satisfaction. We lose ourselves in that process because things come and go. God is reminding us through this verse that the purpose of this life is far beyond your possessions when he sent a warning to those people who were engulfed in the pursuit of pleasures. We are being told a profound message, which is to let go of your possessions. Reshift your focus to connect with yourself and God, and to not completely isolate yourself. Reconnect with loved ones and family, participate in your community, help each other out. If there's one thing to take away from tonight's commentary, it's actually from one of my favorite authors. Quote, "It's love people, use things, because the opposite never works." Let us use the remaining half of Ramadan to let go of possessions and focus on building meaningful and purposeful lives. May God accept your fasts and prayers and shower blessings unto you and your family, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.